Joining me right now is New Hampshire congressional candidate Karoline Leavitt. Karoline, good to see you. Thanks very much for being here.
Thank you. Good morning, Maria.
Well, Karoline, New Hampshire is also facing an energy crisis. More than 15,000 people expected to apply for heating assistance this winter. How would you assess the situation there?
Well, Joe Biden and the Democrats will blame anyone else but themselves for this crisis that we're facing. First, they blamed Putin, then it was Ukraine, now it's the oil companies. This crisis is on their hands. They have shut down our domestic energy production since day one. What we need to do is restart Keystone. We need to end the ban that Biden placed on drilling on our federal lands. We need to reinvigorate our domestic energy production and tap into the resources here. In New England, we're facing a home heating oil shortage. The CEO of our state's largest provider sent a letter to Biden last week essentially begging to do absolutely anything. We are facing winter blackouts in the next few months if they don't get their act together. And it starts by electing Republicans who believe in domestic energy production up and down the ballot next Tuesday.
Well, it's pretty incredible how this administration's all-of-government approach to the climate change agenda has reverberated across our economy, and it has become the energy crisis the number one issue, or certainly top 5 issue for voters. I spoke with the woman running against Lisa Murkowski in Alaska on Sunday, and that is Kelly Chewbacca, came to me live from the Prudhoe Bay to talk about the potential for Alaska. Here she is, Kelly Chewbacca, running for a Senate seat in Alaska.
We've lost over 25,000 jobs in our oil and gas industry across the state, and those jobs haven't been refilled since the Biden administration. There's a lot of policies coming from D.C. that shut down our industry. Biden's making good on his campaign promise to shut down our traditional fuel industries.
So what are you going to do then, Karoline? Should you win in New Hampshire in terms of furthering the ball in terms of growth and jobs in energy?
Well, I could tell you here in New Hampshire, consumers, we are paying more than 100% than we were last year alone for our utilities. We're facing a supply shortage. Energy providers here in New England are rationing supply, telling people they can only partially fill up their home heating oil tanks. It's costing folks an arm and a leg. And I talk to voters every single day who are literally choosing between heating and eating. We need to get to work on this in day one. And again, it starts by tapping into the resources that we have here in our country. We were a net exporter of energy 2 years ago. We cannot continue to elect these Democrats who want this utopia of renewable energies. It's unsustainable. The American people are paying for it. And again, that's why I'm running to unleash our domestic energy production. My Democrat opponent here in New Hampshire has supported the shutdown of our energy independence every step of the way over the past 2 years. And the people here in New Hampshire are paying for it, and they cannot afford it any longer.
So we're looking at energy, but we're also looking at the border as a major issue for voters. Every state is a border state, according to Republican attorneys general. Customs and Border Protection agents, take a look at these pictures, because I heard from a border agent in El Paso yesterday, and what he told me is that agents are being thrown rocks at them. Migrants are throwing rocks at the agents these migrants are from Venezuela, and they are being repatriated to Mexico by Title 42. Here's a shot of one of the agents who got stuck by one of those rocks. He said nothing severe. Thankfully, it's over now. Migrants return to Mexico, but the agents are getting medical attention. Caroline, this is the latest. You've got, whether it be in the border near El Paso or at the border near Del Rio, you've got migrants actually throwing rocks, using weapons. Some of these drug cartels have serious weaponry. They're shooting at our agents as well. What has been the impact on New Hampshire?
Well, God bless our United States Border Patrol agents who have been put through hell over the past 2 years because of the wide open border policies of Joe Biden and the Democrats. More than 4 million illegal people that we know of have come into our country. And here in New Hampshire, we've seen thousands of pounds of fentanyl trafficked into our communities. Just yesterday, I did a ride along with one of our local law enforcement police departments here, and they've seen a 50% increase in fentanyl overdoses in our state's largest city. The officer I was with told me that he's responding to 1 to 2 to 3 overdoses every single day. These drugs are poisoning our communities. They're killing Granite Staters at record rates, and my Democrat opponent has done nothing to push back against the Biden administration. We need to secure our southern border. We need to end the flow of illegal immigrants and people and fentanyl into our country because this is the real epidemic that's killing the American people. It's the leading cause of death, and I wish the media would report on that a little bit more, Maria, just like they did COVID-19, all of the people who are losing their lives at the hands of the Democrat immigration policies.
Yeah, but it's not overdoses, right? It's poisoning, Karoline. I mean, let's face it. These people are not taking fentanyl and overdoing it. They're actually, in some cases, thinking that they're taking prescription drugs that they ordered online that have been laced with fentanyl. This is a poisoning of the American people, and it's originating in China. So what are you going to do about it to keep the Chinese Communist Party out of American business and stop killing our people? You've got drug cartels running the border, deciding who comes in and who doesn't come into America.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a dereliction of duty that falls at the hands of our commander-in-chief. And so Congress needs to hold Joe Biden accountable. We can't just talk the talk anymore. We have to walk the walk in both holding our president, who has allowed this to occur over the past 2 years, and the Chinese Communist power. We need to push strong legislative action for this purposeful, you're right, Maria, to call it. It's a purposeful invasion of our country with these drugs that are killing our children. First and foremost, we need to support our law enforcement community who are suffering on the front lines of this crisis, picking these drugs off of the streets every single day. And we have Democrats in office like my opponent who want to defund our local police, strip them of the resources that they need when they don't have enough bodies on the street to take these drugs out of the hands of drug dealers and our children. This is having an impact on every community in the state of New Hampshire. I will speak loudly and proudly about it when I'm on Capitol Hill in January 2023.
Well, Karoline, let's talk about you. We're a week away from the midterms, and you want to become the youngest woman ever elected to Congress. Tell our viewers what they need to know about you and give us an update on your campaign. How are you feeling a week away?
I feel wonderful a week away. We are very confident we are going to win. This is the most competitive district in America, Maria. We came out of a contentious primary. Now we're tied in a dead heat with our Democrat incumbent, who is a shill for Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden. He votes with them 100% of the time. I am humbled by the outpouring of support we've had from patriots across the country who have gone to our website to chip in to help us get over the finish line. And I very much look forward to serving my home district, where I grew up in a small business family in Congress. We need to lower taxes for the American people, get the government out of the way, protect our Second Amendment rights, secure our border, support our law enforcement. Those are all values I stand for. My Democrat opponent does not. And we need to change the direction of this country, because my generation is not going to have the America, which is the greatest country in the history of the world, if we don't. This is the most crucial election in our lifetimes. We need to do everything we can to get over the finish line. And I look forward to serving in January.
All right, Karoline, we'll be watching. Great to have you this morning. Karoline Leavitt joining us in New Hampshire. Thank you so much. Quick break and then buying from the Black